everyone. This is Thursday, Sphere of Influence Mastermind. Today we have a special guest, Dusty Bates, which
Hello,
is
everyone.
Commercial EXP Realty. Dusty, welcome.
Hello there.
Welcome to the Mastermind. So this is Sphere of Influence where we go over ways to reach out to your sphere, meaning people that may know you, you may know throughout the way they should know you as a real estate professional, and also dealing with other realtors. And that brings us to you, Dusty. So give us a little intro on who you are, what you do, all the good stuff.
Yeah, I'm a commercial real estate agent with EXP Commercial. I've been in commercial almost 20 years. 20
20?
years? A little over 15 years. Between 15 and 20. And specialize in multifamily net lease properties. But I've done stuff as far as vineyards and industrial and self-storage and pretty much the whole gambit. And what I want to talk to you about today was some sphere of influence stuff that we used back when we were with a different brokerage. We would help the residential team realize that they can make quite a bit more money than they realized by just utilizing their sphere of influence to help with commercial real estate.
Yeah, and that's what I was kind of trying to figure out is you mentioned you gave a couple of samples to me. You told me about ways for us to refer business to commercial agents, especially if I'm a residential agent. I may not have all the insights of commercial, and I know a lot of residential agents try to venture over into the commercial space, even though they're not familiar with that
Right.
space. And I actually got a couple agents I know directly that are kind of failing miserably at that. So tell me a little bit about this referral side of the business that I could benefit and other residential agents may be able to benefit by reaching out to someone like you.
Yeah, so that's exactly it. So a lot of times someone will have a situation where you've sold a house and then that person then comes back and says, by the way, I've got a commercial need, I've got a multifamily need. Would you be able to help me with that? And agents do one of two things. They'll either try and do it themselves, they say, hey, I can figure it out, right? How hard can it be? The worst thing is when they know just a little bit about commercial, and so they think, oh, how hard can that be? And then it's a grind. And oftentimes, if they do that route, it's very difficult. It's really painful for everyone involved. It's just a pain in the butt. And a lot of times they decide from there they're not going to do that again. And they might turn away commercial business if that happens again. Um, but what's worse is they're not looking for the commercial business, right? And so I want to talk, I've got a couple sites here we can share
Okay.
that talks about how, you know, it's going to happen whether you're involved or not. The commercial need is there. They need to buy or sell or grow their business. They need to do it. And if you're not involved, you're not going to get paid. But they already know, like, and trust you. Why not utilize that? And so we're going to teach you how to leverage that while without spending any more time
Okay.
on that.
So
Any
basically,
more
we just
questions,
pass
or
off the business to you,
jump into
you
that
handle
and
it.
talk?
Let me ask you this question, Dusty, because in residential, we normally have what they call a referral agreement, right? Is that the same situation between a residential agent and a commercial agent?
Yeah, yeah. So you'll have the same thing. You'll have a referral agreement between you
Okay.
and a commercial broker, right?
Okay.
And I'll talk to you. So on the slides I have, I'll talk to you about how to make that happen. That could be a process where I don't know if you've had the situation where have you ever called a commercial broker and you've never got a call back?
Thousands of times.
Yeah, yeah. So
Thousands.
I'll show you how to get past that because that's actually very
Okay.
common. And I'll show you how to get past that and how to find a commercial broker that's going to work with you and in an agreement, and then you can put that in place so that you can confidently tell your client, I've got someone on my team who does commercial.
Yeah,
And
and I've had that in the past, mainly for clients that were looking to like lease a property, like at least a building or
Mhm.
a unit space or something like that. I never get a call back. So
Yeah,
talk to me about this.
yeah, yeah. And that's another thing is there's good referrals, and then there's referrals you might, spend a lot more time than you need to
Right.
on. And we'll talk a bit about that too. Just gonna read that screen. Okay, so can you see my screen? There shouldn't be anything on there yet.
Uh, I think it's loading here.
See the QR code up in the corner there?
Yep, I see the QR code. Still low, it's still a white screen. I can see a mouse
Yeah.
moving.
All right. Well, so okay. So my title for
Okay.
my talk here is how to earn the equivalent of $30,000 per hour
Okay.
by helping your current sphere of influence get what they want and need in 15 minutes or less without learning anything new and by doing pretty much exactly what you're doing already. Would that be helpful, Lawrence? If I could show you how to make
Thirty
$30,000 an hour
thousand
by
an
doing
hour.
exact, yeah, with
Show
15 minutes or
me.
less.
Show me, man. 30,000 an hour. Yes.
The important thing is this is you're already doing the business. You just need to ask a couple extra questions or just, pay attention to a couple different things and
Okay.
and you can do this.
Okay.
This isn't pie in the sky numbers. So, like I said, you're already spending pretty much all your time in your business, right? We talked about this with another coach the other day, is where, someone who spends all their time on their business, they wonder, well, how can I increase my income, right? What do I
Mm.
do? Do I take time away from my money making activities to do something else, right? And
Right.
then grow that. What do I do? And I think then, as well as now, the way you do that is not by spending less time, doing the residential sales.
Mhm.
You do that by adding revenue stream to what you're already doing. That could be
Okay.
one way. So instead of taking time away, you're adding on another revenue stream to what you're already doing, right?
Right.
You can duplicate yourself. A lot of times we talk about AI, ways to automate what you're already doing so that, in your sleep, it's working for you. So you could do that. And then you can scale what you're already doing.
Mhm.
Um, or you can do all three at the same time, which is what I'm talking about. So I'm going to show you how to do kind of everything at the same time, leverage other people so that you're making money uh, without having to do more work, right?
Okay.
In commercial real estate, by referring people out. So you have a sphere of influence,
Yes.
right? Everyone's got, different people in their sphere, but in large part, you've got people in your sphere they need residential activity to happen. They need to buy something or sell something, or they need a new house. They need to grow. Um, so a certain percentage of them in your sphere need your help right now, and you're trying to talk to them about that, right? To get
Yep.
listings, buyers, and then you're trying to grow that sphere more into this range, right? You want more people with residential needs that are in your sphere of influence, right?
That's correct.
So we're having conversations with both of them, but what we're not doing is talking to these people, because whether you meant to or not, in your sphere of influence, there's people with commercial real estate needs. There just are. And a lot of times they overlap in more ways than you think.
You just gave me
Everyone in
like,
your sphere of influence they might be a business owner, right? They make money somehow. They might be a business owner. They might own commercial real estate or apartments or investment properties. Or very common, they could be a decision maker within a business, right? So they might be an employee in a business that could have an influence on the decisions, right? So they could have a situation where they need more warehouse space for their inventory, or they need another location for their, another shop.
right.
And you're talking to someone buying a house who is a decision maker for that company, right? That company has a commercial real estate need. They're going to be, doing that. They're going to be growing their business, whether you help them or not. And so these are already people in your sphere that know, like, and trust you. Why not have that commercial conversation at the same time? Okay.
Now, okay, so let's stop there.
Okay.
Me, myself, I can have a semi-decent commercial conversation,
Mhm.
but like, let's say a real estate agent, a residential agent has no idea about commercial or what to ask regarding commercial real estate or, how to acquire commercial or sell commercial. How do we transition that talking point?
But first, you're going to keep your ears open. So I'm going to give you some
Okay.
tools to that. So there's a couple things. Number one, the analogy I like to give is someone tells you, like, hey, have you noticed how many yellow Jeeps there are lately? And you first think, well, no, I haven't seen any yellow Jeeps, right? But
Then you
then you
go,
start to see them everywhere.
right.
And it's because you're starting to pay attention for yellow Jeeps. It's just it's just something you're thinking about. So the first thing you can do is just start thinking about in that way, like there's commercial real estate happening. There's people who might be employees. They might not own the business, but they know of the commercial needs of that business. Someone might be buying a house. They might own rental properties or some small apartment buildings or like a storage facility, right? They have commercial needs. And so just asking the simple question, you don't have to learn, how self-storage works, but you can ask them like, hey, I know you own 123 Main Street. Do you have any, are you buying anything else? Have you valued that recently? What kind of needs do you have with regard to Main Street or your storage facility? Do you have any commercial needs? Because I have a commercial teammate that I'd love to introduce you to, they could help out. Okay. And that's just a simple, just asking questions like, do you have any commercial real estate needs?
Okay.
And really, I mean, because they already know, like, and trust you, right? So as far as a commercial broker goes, we're trying to build our database. We can't go door knocking, right? I can't
Why
go
is
knock on a
well,
door and say, okay, hey, you own this house. Can I help you sell it? I can't go knock on an apartment building and say, hey, you own this apartment building. They live in New York.
right.
So I can't go flying around the country to, you
Knock
farm
on the
my
door.
area. I have to call them. Okay, so I have to
Okay.
do cold calls basically, or I have to find some other way to get in contact with them. But as a residential agent, you hold the keys, right? You already know that guy. You sold him a house,
Right.
and he knows, likes, and trusts you, and you can ask that question and make that introduction to me or someone else, right? So we're going to talk about how to vet out a commercial broker so that they're going to partner with you. And then from then on, you've got someone on your team really that you can refer out to. So you can ask those questions and then be confident that you can set up that call
Okay.
and do a handoff. Right. So here's another thing is that residential circle of people who have residential needs also overlaps with the people with commercial needs and your sphere. So there's some trifecta there of people that, yeah, you're selling them a house, but they also have a commercial need at the same time. And you should really be having that conversation every time you sell a house or buy a house or work with a client. You should be asking them, what kind of investment properties do you have? Do you have any commercial activity that you're working on? Because I've got some commercial teammates that could help out too. Okay. And
Okay.
be a further resource for them going forward. This is the example I use. So we're going to talk about how to make that $30,000 an hour without doing anything extra. So uh, whether they realize it or not, most agents who have been in the business for a little bit have had this happen where they sold someone a house. That person enjoyed their professionalism, their hard work. They thought they did a good job,
Hmm.
and that person also has a commercial need.
Right.
That's happened. Now, whether or not whoever sold them the house knew about the requirements, that depends on if they asked any questions. Depends on if they asked them about it. And if they did ask those questions, did they refer that out to a commercial broker or did they just let that go? Right? Because this person, Dave, is going to have that activity happen, like I said, whether or not the agent who sold them the house is involved or not. Okay. So even if you just do residential, just asking about their commercial needs, they might say, yeah, I ran out of warehouse space. I needed to find another warehouse to lease up. And Lawrence, I don't know if I've told you, but leasing can be much more profitable than sales.
Yeah,
So
you actually mentioned that to me before,
yeah,
because that's like it's not just that first lease. That with that entire lease, within that, it's multiple ways to get commission, right?
yeah, you get paid on. There's no escrow either, so you just invoice
Yeah.
them. So there's no long escrow period. It's a half on signing the lease, half on occupancy.
Yep.
Um, but then that client's not going to be there forever, right?
Right.
That's an in for the whole building. So I have the shopping center we closed earlier this year is 70,000 square feet, and I get to lease all those spaces. And then guess what? When the tenant leaves, I get to lease the space again,
Now,
right? So
uh,
it's
let
like
me
not
ask you
selling
this.
a house once. It's like selling a house 10 or 15 or 20 times.
Yeah, but let me ask you this question though. How long is your lease agreement? I mean, your lease listing agreement for?
It's for 12 months right now, and then we
Okay.
every year.
And basically, they're just going to renew with you anyways
Mhm.
if they. you know.
Yeah, we're just going to keep it going forward.
Okay.
You've probably seen around town, like on retail properties, there's the sign for lease,
Yeah.
and it's faded and old, and it's like 5 or 6 years old, and it's just because they get lots of activity from that sign, and they just keep getting to lease that building, right? So if you
Huh.
refer someone who
That's
has like a retail property like that to me, I'm now giving you referral, activity over and over and over again, and I'm making money over and over again. So the
so.
question is, did anyone else help? Did anyone help Dave at all, or did Dave just go to, search on Google, find someone who has the specialty for what he needs, and no one got a referral fee out of it? That's the question. Um, so that happens all the time.
Okay.
Everyone in your sphere of influence, a lot of them have commercial needs. Here's how that breaks down, right? We talked about this. Transaction value for the house might have been 800,000. The commission at 3% would be 24. You said that we might spend about 90 hours on it. I'm going to cut that more than half. I'm going to say maybe you spent 40 hours on that deal.
Okay.
And what that means is your hourly rate for that would be about $600 an hour, which is not bad, right? If you spent 90, you can see if you spent 90
It's
hours on the deal,
266.
it'd be $266 an hour, which is still not bad, right?
Yeah, I was just thinking like, just combined, you got a 90-day listing, throughout that listing, obviously you're going to spend different hours per day, but if you just take an hour a day for 90 days, it's, 90 hours worked. But
Yeah.
but obviously you're not going to work like crazy towards the end of it once you're in escrow, or hopefully not, but that initial listing, getting it started, ramped up, marketing, all that stuff is probably the majority of your hours you're spending. Um,
Usually at the front end and the back end is when you
yeah,
spend that.
front end and back end. The middle is kind of like, goes down in hours. So yeah, I would say around 90, but you're breaking it down to 40 hours,
Let's
which
just
breaks
say through
down
the
to,
whole thing, we spent 40 hours. That's hey, you're making $600 an hour, not bad. But if you had helped Dave with his, say, apartment, and it's $1 million, right? It's probably much more than that. Say it was only $1 million, and say instead of working it yourself, you just referred it out to someone. You had that conversation with the broker, and so you referred it out to them. Uh, at 3%, your commission, your referral fee would be $7,500, right? And say that conversation was a 15-minute handoff to whatever broker. So you introduce them by phone, say, hey, this is the commercial broker on my team. Commercial broker, this is Dave. Dave has need of A, B, and C. And then commercial broker has that conversation, and then that's it. It's a handoff. So the hourly rate for that would be about $30,000 an hour for that amount of work,
right.
right? And the thing is, it's not either or. You don't have to choose a house or referring business. You can either do the house or both of them,
Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking. Like
right?
I just closed a deal for 800,000 and I got $1 million referral for a commercial agent.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm getting
Yeah.
that, yeah, 24,000 plus the 7,500. Yeah,
Yeah, for
makes
a
sense.
couple minutes of your time just for asking a couple extra questions, and all you're doing is asking, Dave, like, what commercial needs do you have? Do you have any multifamily? What kind of investment properties do you own? I've got someone on my team who can help you find some more, right? And we have a bunch of scripts and stuff that we'll share with you too. If someone wants to just copy paste, we're going to help you create a list, and then you can copy paste, um, your texts or emails or what have you in there, and you can just ask the questions like that if you wanted to. So these are just
Okay.
some real examples, just to show you that this is real. I tried to take a cross section of a bunch of different types of stuff. So there's a vineyard sale right there. Um,
Tired
retired attorney spent about 30 minutes on the phone with me, and his fee was well over 100,000. So his earnings per hour were $200,000, more than that, right?
Right.
Apartment sale in Central California. This was the Central California one. Um, just a quick call, right? Basically just text, actually, he actually texted me the person's number and I called the guy and we got
A
the
five
listing.
minute handoff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So the text really, it was a text. I don't know if I say it here, but the text was actually probably took him 5 minutes to text us and call me and say, hey, would you take a referral? And that's it. $240,000 per hour, 4,000 a minute. Okay. And then there's an already, so this was a lease that we took. So it was an R&D location. So there needed to be a clean room. There were server issues. And so we toured a bunch of properties. And same thing. I think he emailed me. Yeah, this guy emailed me. Same thing too. He called me, said, "Hey, would you take a referral?" Emails me, and the client makes
Man,
$15,000 off the lease.
I'm
Right?
looking at some of these referral fees. This is like what we make on one deal, one sale of a property. And that's for a lease, a $15,000 referral fee. Man,
Yeah. So
yeah,
that's why I'm saying, like, $7,500 is kind of on the lower end. This is I'm hedging my bet, saying, yeah,
yeah.
you could spend 15 minutes handing someone off to me. They want to buy something for $1 million or sell something. Yeah, you could make about 7,500 bucks, give or take for that mobile home park. Uh,
50,000, Jesus.
yeah,
Wow.
really just one call with me and the owners, and then made 150. This is one where they might buy another property right now, and so he's going to receive another referral fee from me.
So that referral fee keeps going?
I do that,
Okay.
right? Because this means, so it might mean 150,000 to him, but it means a lot more to me.
Right.
So it makes sense for me to make sure that he wants to bring me those leads whenever they come in, because that makes a lot of money for me. So it's well worth it
You're
for
my
me.
go-to guy.
Yeah, yeah. Because I'm gonna keep giving you those referrals every time they
Yeah,
close something.
I like that.
Yeah. So that's a good cross section, right? So mobile home park, R&D, lease. You've got an apartment, you got a vineyard, and you can see they made well over 30,000 an hour. Obviously, they're not doing this full time, but if you break it down by a per hour earnings, it's well worth
That's how
leveraging
much.
their
Yeah, I
time
mean,
just to do a handoff, is the
a
point,
hundred
right?
thousand dollars for a handoff. Yeah, 15%. How many minutes you spend? 30 minutes.
30 minutes, yeah.
You know how many residential agents spend 4 hours just calling leads, cold calling leads?
Yeah, so you've got a database where you've got people that know, like, and trust you. You don't have to spend any more time, or you could make this part of your daily activities, right? So you could sort your sphere of influence into buckets. Okay. So, and I'm going to share a template with you where you can just like take the template and you can just start adding people into it. And you can say, maybe do a list of 20,
Okay.
right? So make a list of 20 people, sort them into buckets. Are these business owners? Are they investors? Are they high net worth individuals? Or are they a decision maker, right? Are they an employee that can make a decision on
Okay.
another investment for the property? And then, so make a list of them, make sure you know their numbers and the properties they own. And then from there, before you call them, you should find a commercial broker. Okay.
You should
So,
find a commercial
yeah.
broker.
So, step one, make your list
Okay.
of people who might have commercial real estate needs or investment needs, or own, have a bunch of money to invest. From there, before you call them, you want to have someone to hand them off to, right? So step
Okay.
two would be establish, a commercial real estate referral person. Okay. And you're going to do that by finding, so when you make that list, you're going to find out, I have a lot of people who own apartments, or I have a lot of people who own, retail or, industrial properties, right? Or they own a lot of businesses. So you're going to go on the LoopNet or Crexi, you're going to make a free account,
Hmm.
and you're going to find the people in your area that do the things that your
Yeah.
list does, right? So multifamily owners, you're going to find multifamily brokers, right? And what you're going to find in your area, there's only like a dozen or less people that do that product type,
Okay.
right? There's going to be a handful, right? So in my area, there's one person who does concrete tilt up industrial properties. Like there's one person. Um, I forget his name, but there's one person in California that does boat marinas, right? So you're going
So,
to find there's only just a handful of people that you can call. Okay. And then what you're going to do is you're going to identify, so make a list of the top people that do those listings,
okay.
right? The top producers. You're not going to call them. This is why they're not returning your calls. You're calling the main agent for those listings. There's going to be two or three agents on that listing.
So they're juniors
Call the junior agents, right? So the junior agents are the ones that are working that listing. The senior agent is the rainmaker
got it.
who, they're on, calls or trips, with clients right now. They don't have time for someone they don't know, right?
Right.
So eventually they're going to hand your phone number off to the junior agent, and the junior agent will end up calling you. Just call the junior agents, and that's who you're going to make the agreement with.
Okay. So
Tell
you're
them,
going to make the
hey,
agreement with the junior agent.
yeah, say, hey, I've got X amount of owners. I've got a sphere of influence that has people who have a lot of multifamily properties. I notice you guys list a lot of multifamily. Would it be okay if I sent you some multifamily referrals? Do you take referrals? And they're probably going to say yes, but um, we don't want anything that's less than 20 units, right? Or if
Unless,
it's leasing, yes, I'll take referrals, but if it's less than 5,000 square feet or 5 years, I can't really work with them. There's not enough money to share with another broker, right?
that's for lease, right?
For lease, yeah. So they're going to tell you find out what a good referral would be for them. You know,
Yeah.
what kind of specialty do you have? What do you focus on? With multifamily, what is a good referral for you? What should I pay attention to before I send anything to you? Because what ends up happening, what has happened for me in the past is when residential agents will try and refer stuff, they'll refer me whatever comes across, and a hair salon that wants to get started on 300 square feet, 400 square feet, little tiny executive office. I can't make any money off of that. Neither can you. And the listing broker is probably who we want to hand them off to. Um, so make sure you know what a good referral is versus a bad referral. So a
Okay.
good referral is someone who's motivated, someone who is able and is realistic, right? So they're not going to tell you, I want a good deal. Bring me a 10% return in the middle of downtown, and I want zero risk, right? So, and I've got a vetting criteria for both clients and then for brokers too that you can run through.
Okay.
So find someone to refer people to, work your database, right? So the 10-4-3 rule is you can do it daily or weekly, but if you do it weekly, you'd say, I want to contact 10 decision makers every week, 4 days out of the week, 3 weeks out of the month. Right. So
Okay.
basically contacting 30 decision makers a month and asking them that commercial real estate question. So you've got your list. Hopefully you've got at least 30 on there, and then you start there. And then next month you add to that list another 30, and then you work through that.
And just kind of rotate that list.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And add to it. So commercial broker will want to grow their database to about 1,000 to 3,000 properties. You don't have to be anywhere near that, but that's what we're doing. We're cold calling, we're dialing, trying to grow the list of people that we don't know into the list that we do know, up to 1,000 to 3,000 people. That's what we want. Okay.
Okay.
So you're going to get a yes from someone. You're then going to do a handoff call with a broker, the broker you selected. Yeah. So, they say yes, they raise their hand. Yes, I would like to have some help with buying some more multifamily. Great. I'm going to connect you with Greg. Does Tuesday work? You schedule a call, do the handoff call. Hey, Greg's a great broker. Dave wants more multifamily. Here's his criteria. And then Dave takes it, and then they get your referral fee. Okay.
You just gave me a great idea because I got a referral right now for you that I'll talk to you off.
Perfect. That's
Go
hey,
ahead.
that's why we do
I know we're
it.
getting short on time, but go ahead.
The last thing you want to do, which is the key, this is how you get paid, is follow up, right? Because it
Yeah.
could be a handoff. So that vineyard, for example, took like 7 months to happen.
Wow.
And luckily he never followed up with us, but we kept track of it. So you need to take the reins and make sure you have some sort of tracker on what you've referred to who and when. And then you probably need to check in with that maybe once a month.
Now, do brokers get annoyed with you checking in?
If you do it all the time, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
and that's another thing is you don't want to stay in the deal. You want to make sure you do that handoff and then that client knows that they're dealing with their commercial need. If
Right.
they have
Okay.
any residential need, they need to call you again.
Okay.
But that can be a problem too, where the residential agent will stay somewhat involved and it kind of ties our hands to some degree.
Okay.
So we want to take care of that. So, and is that it? Yeah. Oh, that's overlapping, huh?
Yeah, you got some overlap there.
Oh, I'm not sure why that's overlapping. Here, let me stop. Sharon, what questions do you have? And I'll try and bring that back up. I'm going to let you guys have a whole bunch of stuff for like $1.
No, I mean this was great. Great info. Like I had no idea that the referral fees were so high um for commercial. I know commercial deals are more lucrative, but the referrals, 5 minutes to just talk to somebody to hand it off, part of my
Oh, yeah.
sphere already, right? So basically what I need to do is conduct a research on certain commercial agents that focus on certain areas, meaning um
Start with your list. Find out where, because you might find out that most of your clients that need commercial real estate have a industrial need.
right. Or
So
multifamily.
you don't want to go court a multifamily broker when you need industrial, right?
Right. Yeah, so it's all about it's important to know what need what I would guess what product they need, right? Commercial, industrial, land, um,
Yep.
mobile home parks. Uh,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
thinking
So
of
find out their criteria. So I'm going to give this to you guys. It's a program that we put together. It's a whole workshop on this.
okay.
It's a 6-part series that goes in detail on each of those items that we talked about. It's got a bunch of templates and scripts. It's got
Awesome.
an email campaign templates. It's got all of the trackers that we talked about. It's got all of those ready to go. It auto calculates everything. You can find out, you can do your prospecting from there. Uh, don't pay retail for it. Don't pay $2,000 for it. There's a code Alliance. If you enter in the code,
Okay.
it should drop it to like $1,
All right.
I
Up to
think.
a dollar. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
You go there or the QR code or the website there, and
Yeah,
that'll
and
give you
what I'll do
everything.
is I'll put this in the bottom of our video too, that's recording that we're going to post up on the Alliance website and
Okay.
also on YouTube and all that good stuff. So, residential agents, Dusty Bates has provided us a wealth of knowledge just in this short amount of time. Reach out.
Yeah.
Dusty, how can someone contact you directly? How can they reach out to you? I know you're part of the Alliance group, but if people are not a part of the Alliance group, how can they reach you?
Right
Perfect.
there.
Right there.
Yeah. There's my direct line and then my email right there.
Awesome.
So if it's with this or anything, any commercial questions, feel free to reach out. Doesn't matter what it's about.
So today's mastermind was about sphere of influence with commercial agents and reaching out to some of these commercial agents and building a rapport, putting them in part of your sphere so you have another tool to go after when you're talking to your clients that may be in residential that you just closed a deal with and that you know own commercial property also. Or
Yeah.
you
So
maybe
I
just
mean,
sold
think
a
about it
property
like
that you want to buy commercial. Dusty Base is the wealth of knowledge in this space. Reach out. Dusty, I appreciate this time on this. This is great, man. Like I never knew this was that lucrative. And I do have a lead for you. I'm gonna talk to you offline about how I need to approach that.
yeah.
This guy owns multiple multifamily. Um, and he's into flipping a little bit of just single family homes. That's how I actually met him. But he told me he owns apartment buildings all over. So that's a
You'd be
great resource
surprised. A
right there.
lot of they might say they own a rental and they own, a 60 unit apartment building too.
Yeah,
It's
this guy,
they
yeah,
own,
he owns over 10 units in
yeah.
a couple buildings. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got plenty of needs, and
Yeah, I just thought about you talking.
it's not always about I have to sell to buy. It's not, one big thing about commercial real estate is they're constantly moving their equity, or they should be, to get
Yeah.
their best returns. So it's not about I'm trying to retire and sell my properties. It's about I need the best return that I can get. And so that's where a commercial broker will come in is they know how to talk to them about like, well, okay, well, here's what you think your return is, and here's where your equity is at, and your equity return is actually 2% or 1%. You're getting 1% return, not 10%. And we can show them how that works and how to redeploy that equity. That's
Yeah,
a big.
you have a wealth of knowledge in the 1031 exchange space, cost segregation, all that good stuff. Dusty, you're my go-to guy for commercial. Anyone else, you need to make contact with Dusty. He's going to be your main point of contact for commercial. I'm Lawrence King here with Sphere of Influence with the Alliance Group every Thursday, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're always here. Today was a great call with Dusty Bates. Dusty, thank you. Thank you for this.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.